Hey, today we're going to be talking about the topic of help, my client's not getting the forced call outs. What do I do? So sometimes you'll get into a situation with your customers where they'll say that the call outs aren't working. They're not getting the calls. Something's going wrong. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to debug that issue so that way you can get back to your client and let them know exactly what to do. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to go into our client's account and we want to create a test for ourselves. So in order to see a problem, we really need to see it kind of for ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to hit create campaign, and we're going to create a new campaign called call test. And all call test is going to do is have one step in here called which is just the call step. Now, in order to get the call step to dial out to us, we need to be in the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to settings, we're going to go to team management, and then we're going to add ourselves in as a test user. So we'll just add a new user called TestMcTesterson, and we'll say, whatever, test456789@bob.com, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is the phone number. We want the phone number to be our cell phone. So that way we can route the calls to our cell phone, and we can actually then, forgot the password. We can see, does this work or does it not work, right? Really simple, easy step. So now what we're going to do is we'll go back into campaigns. We're going to go into the call test. And then we're going to go into the campaign configuration and we're going to add our test user in here under users. So we called ourselves TestMcTesterson. We're going to add ourselves as a user and we're going to hit save. So now what happens now? What happens is when a lead gets added to this campaign, it's going to be added and assigned to TestMcTesterson, which has our cell phone number in it. So we're going to get the phone call. So now what do we do? How do we test this? Super easy. We go over to conversations. We hit new conversation and we send ourselves a quick text. And this is obviously a good time to see that we get text messages, but let's just assume that the text message comes in on our cell phone. And in my case, the text message did come into my cell phone. I'm just looking down here at my cell phone. So that way I make sure and have everything here and ready to go. So the next step is we're going to need to add ourselves to the campaign. So now what's about to happen here? So we're about to be the lead and the salesperson all in one, which is totally fine because what we're really trying to do is see, do we get the call, yes or no? So let's go ahead and add ourselves to the call test campaign and see what happens. So I've gone ahead and hit add, and what we're going to see is an outbound call is now starting. My cell phone should now ring. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to try to answer this on speaker so you can hear it. So now I hit a key and it's going to try to call me again. So we can hear the ringing and you might not be able to see this, but I'll try to show it to you. My caller ID is ringing, so then I can answer it. And so now I know that the call is connected. So in this case, of course, this is a successful test because what's happened here, and I'm going to go ahead and hang up these calls, is we routed the call to ourselves as a salesperson. We picked it up, we heard the recording, and then we went ahead and hit the key and it called ourselves again because we're also the lead and we were able to pick that up as well. So we know at this point, everything is good. So now what happens if you perform that test and it doesn't work? Well, the next thing you want to do is you want to go into Twilio and we want to go up to the top right-hand corner and we want to go into sub accounts. We want to find the sub account that matches the account, our client's account, so we can see what the call logs look like. So if we go in, we'll find their account, hit view sub account, and then this time we're going to go over to the circle with the three dots, click phone numbers, find the number that our client dials out from, click that number, and then we're going to go into call logs and we're going to see exactly what's going on. So by default, it says outgoing and then there's also incoming. The easiest way to do this though is just click view all my call logs. So here we go, we can see exactly what's happening. So when we're doing the dial out, remember there's two calls happening. First, there's the call from the system to your client, and then there's the call from your from the system to the lead, and then we're joining them together. We're bridging those calls. So the very first call here is from the system number to me. Now, most of the time when the customer is saying, I'm not getting this call, the second call, so this one, again from the number to myself, which is a little confusing because of course I'm the lead and the salesperson, this second call generally doesn't happen. So first thing to check is, is the call out to the salesperson there and the call out to the lead? Or is it just the call out to the salesperson? Next, you're going to want to see if you click on the date and time of the call out to the salesperson. What in the world is going on here? So in our case, if there's a successful bridge, you'll see it says conference calls, conference SID. This is telling us that there was a successful bridged call. But if not, what you'll see is down here, you will just see this initial message, and then it'll probably have a couple other ones, and it'll just kind of stop. So at that point, the real question isn't, is the system trying to do its job? We know the system's trying to do its job. The question is, what's wrong with your client's phone number? So a lot of times people will have voice over IP lines, Google voice numbers, Skype numbers, something that's just not a quote unquote normal phone number, something that's not a landline that goes direct, or something that is not just a normal cell phone. So in that case, that's when we really need to dig a little bit deeper. So at this point, what I would do if it were me, if this conference isn't here, I would go ahead and open up a ticket on this call. So to do that, you just copy the call SID, you hit copy, you go to the top right hand corner, hit the help, do a submit ticket, and then you're going to be dropped into the ticket. And I would say call will not connect. And if the call does not connect, what we're going to say is the call with call ID : paste tries to reach my client, but my client says the call never reaches them. Please let me know what is happening here. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I always do P2 degraded because obviously it is a degraded. Now when you do the submit, what you're going to see, for products, you're also going to want to choose programmable voice. And then when you hit the submit here, it's going to try to give you a list of things to look at. Just go ahead and hit no, these did not answer your question. And then you can actually hit, there's another screen and you'll have to hit submit again, and then you'll send in the ticket. So at that point, they're pretty quick on the draw. If you run into any issues after this, this is the point where you probably need to reach out to support for us, and then we can try to help you resolve the issue further. But if you can do these debugging steps ahead of time, this solves about 98% of the issues. So anyhow, hopefully this helps you debug calls, and have a great day.